Hi guys, welcome back to the Gremlin's Lair. I'm Fana, and do we need to do this again? Because
Whatever, I don't
we
care.
still suck at this.
That's fine. I don't think people are here for perfection.
I'm here for perfection.
Okay, then make it perfect. Let's go.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Gremlin's Lair. If you're new, I'm Fana, and this is Bobby.
Hiya.
And this is where we let our inner creativity gremlins run and play. Even though I pronounced creativity very oddly right then.
The English major has to screw up sometimes. You know, she can't be perfect every time. I think she's perfect. However, I know she's bound to screw up every now and again, just like any human on this earth.
Well,
you know,
see, big readers will probably support me in this, where you read so much that you have a very good vocabulary, or me. I have a very, very good vocabulary, but because I read it and I'm not hearing it, I have no idea how to pronounce it. So I will mispronounce big words all the time, not because I'm trying to be like high and mighty or lord it over anyone, laud it over anyone, but I'll like it naturally in my head. I'm seeing it and I pronounce it how I read it. I thought it was supposed to be pronounced because, you know, the English language doesn't make any sense.
No, it literally makes no sense. There's no point to it. I wonder if it's one of those things too. For you're also, you know, you're sharp as a tack, the way your mind works. So like, I think you think faster than you speak sometimes.
Yeah.
So you end up like having a quick like glitch in your head, and it just kind of comes out weird.
It's not even a stutter. It's a glitch almost, like, which I guess you could call a stutter, but I do stumble over my words a lot, and it's funny with the whole like having a big vocabulary but not being able to pronounce it.
Yeah.
I noticed my little brother, who's also a massive reader, does the same thing. And like, disclaimer, I know what creativity is. Like, I do know that one. I glitched.
I mean, I think you catch yourself a lot better than I do. I have the kind of the other end of the issue where I'm thinking too fast and I have to wait until I get the entire thought processed in my head before I even start speaking. So like if I'm in like I guess in a creative conversation with somebody, like I have to, and if they start saying things, I'm like, shut up. I gotta process what you just said a minute ago, which, you know, some people that we know and the way they talk sometimes, whether it be too fast, sometimes I kind of have to have them like, could you just take it down like half speed? So I can actually process what the hell you just said to me.
Well, and then my cousin actually has an auditory disorder where she is very, very smart, but she does have that blink of, what did you say? And then you repeat yourself, and halfway through you're repeating yourself, she answers the question, because then her brain catches up.
Oh, I do that all the time. I'll ask, like, I as far as I know, I have no hearing problems, but like if I don't completely catch what somebody said, I'll ask them to start repeating it, and as they start saying the first couple words, that usually fills in what I missed, and then I'm like, oh yeah, no, we're good,
right? And then you feel,
I do that constantly,
and then you feel bad because then you interrupted them, even though you're the one who said, "Can you repeat yourself?" And it just it's. But when I struggle a lot with reading out loud.
Yeah.
I struggle a lot with it. I don't know if it's me being afraid of mispronouncing words, and that's what makes me mispronounce words more. But I will start reading something. I'll be like, the cow jumped over da 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 da, and I'll mess up and say or da 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 da, and I'll restart, and it's just a process. But I realize that I do it in a professional setting too. Like, I'll literally be with my boss and read something to her and mess up and do that like noise, like, because I'm just used to doing that, and she hasn't said anything yet because she knows. But
it's pretty obvious what you're doing. Like when you do it, when you're around me and that happens, you do it. You have much more exasperation when you do it. Like you do this whole facial reaction to it. It's cute and hilarious. You know what's funny though? As you're saying this, I'm thinking back, like, you've read, over the course of our relationship, you've read a ton of like your own works. To me, you don't seem to have that issue when you're reading a lot of your own stuff.
Because I'm the one who wrote it. I know how it's supposed to sound.
I know, but like even me, like I forget things that I write or make, and sometimes I go back and it's all fresh information. So even if I were to read like my own script or something, I'm still gonna stumble over somewhere. Like I can't process it fast enough. Like, I don't know. I overprocess and overdo it.
I think
don't know how to explain it.
It depends on the setting too.
Sure.
I'm almost more nervous around people I know. Or
you're trying to impress.
Well, it's like that. Like I've had the chance to read my work in front of. I've been asked to read my work in front of an audience before who I didn't know anyone, and that one, it was almost like the fear of, like, this is my first like real debut. Like I can't mess up. Like I was fine.
Right.
But then when I would read at like senior night or stuff like with all of my classmates and my professors who I've been with 4 years, I would mess up more, even though they know me, but it's almost like I have to impress them more.
I think you, with any relationship, especially one that's kind of based like you're on your classmates or your professors, or even friends for that matter, I think once you, this goes into like a whole personal conversation. I think once you have them as like part of your circle or part of a, just they're a loved one or whatever, right? I think you feel like you have to upkeep it by always like trying to better yourself. I'm not using the right words here, but what I'm trying to say is like you have to kind of upkeep it so that you have to always be able to impress, never get, boring or be on a lull type of thing. And you feel like if you, have less of a performance in front of them, that you're somehow disappointing them and damaging the relationship, which is so far beyond from the truth. Right. I mean, not to mention for you and not to gas you up, but I'm going to do it anyway. Most of the people that you were reading in front of already knew how good you were. So you really didn't have that much to lose to begin with, unless you just started, screaming curse words and doing something that stupid, you know what I mean? So it's interesting how that works.
Well, and thank you, but it's also, I was going to say something along those lines too. Like, those are people, my professors saw me, it was a very tight-knit, small department. Mm-hmm. So they saw me at my best, but they also saw me at my worst. And they would be concerned when I was at my worst. Because they were like aunts and uncles almost.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I can't mess up, because then they'll ask if I'm okay, because they know what my best looks like. And if I mess up, they know that that's not my best. So then they think something's wrong.
Right.
And I can't disappoint the aunts and uncles.
It's a bad cycle you kind of put yourself into, even though they know that if you have one mess up in front of a crowd, they're literally going to be like, it's okay. And a lot of the time, for those things, I mean, there were certain bigger events that you had to do, like like a lot of your senior stuff, especially where you had to kind of present your work, the big poster board you had. Like, messing up there, okay, not the most ideal thing, but like for some like the readings that we did, like what was the one like holiday thing was that for Halloween that we went to the library for or whatever? Like if you would have,
there was Franken Reads, which was a lot of fun. I don't think you could go to that.
No, I was working that day. That one I remember, because you said one of my professors was there.
Yeah, he played Bride of Frankenstein.
Of course he did.
And then, there was a Halloween read, which it wasn't my class, but it was a professor that I really liked, so I wanted to support her. And so that was a lot of fun, but we didn't have to read it that.
Yeah, but I was saying, like, I guess, like, something like that, which was kind of just like a casual, like, hey, come if you're around, hang out a little bit. Like, we literally just, like, laid on the floor, listened to all these readings happen. So, like, if you would have messed up at something like that, nobody would have batted an eye at you, honestly.
Yeah.
But, like, something as senior, you senior thing, like, you were doing, like, your senior presentations, you definitely don't want to be doing, but.
Well, and, like, speaking of seeing you at your best and seeing at your worst, like, I was on the Dean's Advisory Board, and my dean actually just this week liked a Facebook post of me in a fairy costume at my job, and I was just like, ugh, even though like I'm friends with her on Facebook, it just the fact that she's seeing that, but then also like that's me thriving. That's me doing a very successful first program as a children's librarian. And like she didn't say anything, she didn't comment, but like another professor was like, the fact that it's COVID and you're out there building fairy houses makes me so happy. It's like, because it was a good thing. That is my best. As silly as that best is.
You shouldn't even be viewing that as a low point. Like that's
no, I'm not. I'm not. It's just
I know.
It's funny because they know that that's me thriving, and it's literally me with a wand in a fairy outfit. Like that, they're like, that's Morgan thriving. They know that.
And like, what are they gonna say? Like, oh wow, you're dressing up for kids now. What a shame you've become. No, that's like your whole shtick. So like, of course they're gonna support that. You know, even the dean's probably like, man, I wish I could do that with 18 to 22-year-olds at college. You know.
Yeah.
So no, that was definitely that's definitely a highlight that you're gonna remember for a while. That picture's hilarious. So I'm a big fan of that.
Some of those fairy houses are still standing somehow.
Are they really?
Yeah,
so
some of them are still... It's been
a week, right?
Yeah, a week tomorrow. Some of them, like, a lot of the little decorations have flown off or, like, toppled over, but, like, I would say probably 3 out of the 5 of them, their structure's still there.
Do you want to, real quickly, do you want to explain more of the context as to what we're talking about? Like, kind of fully explain what this program was? We probably need to do that.
So, my official title, I'm a children's librarian, but my official title is the Youth Services Program Coordinator at this one library, which means I have to make up the programs. But due to COVID, we're trying to introduce outdoor programs that are not, like, everyone has their own little stuff, they social distance, all that kind of jazz. So not only was this my first program as, like, an adult, it was my first program at this position, and it was the first outdoor program that we've done in forever, and it's the first program since March. So it had a lot going on. So what did I decide to do? I decided that we were going to go on a fairy hunt and do a scavenger hunt, and wherever the kids found their specific fairy, they had to build a fairy house, which I provided all the stuff for.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fantastic. I dressed up as a fairy, a bunch of the kids dressed up as fairies. I changed the lyrics to that old camp song, we're going on a bear hunt, to we're going on a fairy hunt. It was a lot of fun. And
you planned this for a while too. I was so proud to see how this came out, and she was so worried when we were getting close to it. I was like, for like no reason, you knew that was going to be fine. That was going to go over so well, and it went beyond your wildest imaginations.
But then it's also like fairies meant so much to me when I was little. So I can only assume that they would mean a lot to other kids. And then, like, there was a few little boys there, too. It made me really happy. There was one little boy that was all decked out. He had wings to match his Ninja Turtle shirt. He had jewels on his forehead. He had it all. He looked cooler than I did. It's like, it makes me really happy that, like, little boys are coming to fairy programs and that, like, some of these parents aren't raising their kids to have, like, the gender norms and, like, norms.
It's funny. You know what, though? I want to, once this is all over, I want to see if I could shake that kid's hand, because that boy's a champion. Because if I was his age, like, that's the last thing I'm doing. Like, because I was scared a lot of time to be made fun of for the shoes I was wearing, let alone putting on fairy wings or being decked out in fairy gear. So, you know what? Props to him, man. It's going to be a very confident dude when he grows up. Well, I'm excited for him.
I'm planning another program right now, which is like a stuffed animal sleepover at the library type thing, where their stuffed animals are gonna come sleep over at the library, and I'm gonna, like, do pictures of, like, them getting into trouble, and like, that family signed up. So we're gonna wear pajama. I, like, literally was planning my pajama outfit, and I'm gonna bring my special stuffed animal from, like, my childhood, because like, I'm a firm believer in, when you're an adult organizing children's programs, whether it be you're a teacher or a librarian or even like a babysitter, like, you can't get the kids engaged if you're not engaged. And if I'm not willing to bring my special animal or to, like, dress in pajamas, how can I expect the little kids, or be disappointed when the little kids don't?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be all in.
You especially are going to always be good at that, because you never you still love fantasy and almost still kind of young adult children's stuff. So like you still eat this stuff up all the time, and you're never afraid to express that with anybody, no matter what age. So this position really was meant for you. The way you're able to kind of build these things for these kids, because you're not afraid to show that side of you, and I think people get attracted to you and that personality that you have and those traits that you show. I mean, yes, there's a lot. There's a lot more to like about you. Trust me, I date you, but I think it's an attractive part of you that people latch onto pretty quickly. It's easy to see how, nice and warm you are, and how you let people be free and kind of just, let their imaginations run wild. It's a big core value of yours.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's literally part of my brand.
It is. No,
it is
quite
pronounced
literally
Fantasy
it is.
Finder. It is pronounced fantasy, not
spelled
fanasty, like some people like to say.
Why have I never done that before? I'm going to call you that from now on.
Fanasty?
That's fun. Yeah, fanasty.
Well, because how often do I actually say Fantasy Finder in my videos? I'm Fana. I don't think I ever say Fantasy Finder.
I had a joke.
Was it?
I'll say this. The Nasty is your all NSFW account.
Yeah, come to my OnlyFans.
Yeah, I had to figure out how to say it without breaking our rating a little bit, but yes, that's what we're.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I couldn't. As soon as you said Fanasty, I'm like, oh god.
No, that's why it's pronounced fantasy, even though it's spelled. And again, I know it's spelled wrong.
Yes. How old were you when you made that name and spelled it wrong?
Like 11.
Yeah. Wait, did you really have your YouTube account since you were 11?
No, but I've been Fantasy Finder for as long as I've been on the internet.
I was gonna say, waiting for your account to get banned.
Well, except I was Violet 13. Fairy on Webkins. Remember? I think we talked about that.
We did. Did we talk about it on the show? I remember we talked
we did.
About it. No,
I'm pretty sure. Right. Well, anyway,
because we did the story of you and the story of me.
Oh, you know what? I might have been Violet Fairy on Club Penguins too.
Yeah, Club Penguin that was era, the best Flash game, and it's not even close.
That era of the internet,
Webkins
the best
can
era.
Take a backseat. So they shut down.
Club Penguins.
So I mean, Disney bought Club Penguin and now made it like Penguin World or something like that. I forget what they call it now. But there was a rip-off site that literally took the original game and had it playable on another site. So my sister and my cousins have been playing for a while, but I think that got shut down recently because Disney finally discovered that it existed.
Well, I could never get past the Spy miniseries game.
That was awesome. That stuff was so much fun.
Mine was glitched. Like I literally fought with it. Like it was like level 3. Fought with it. I took it to the cousin that I was talking about earlier. She was like, wait, what do you mean? And we literally had the computers side by side, and mine was just glitched. It would not.
That is weird.
We could not.
So your account just was not going to work.
I could not become a real spy.
I was a real spy. I remember my cousin was playing at the time, and I remember I was over her place, and she was playing, and I kind of sat behind her for a minute, and I noticed the little phone. You get a little phone when you become the agent. I don't know if you got to that point, but like you get a little. So when you beat all the levels or become an agent, you get a little phone that is on your HUD
for like secret missions.
Yes, exactly. So you get I can't remember if you get paged or like you just check it every once in a while to see what's there. It's like it's always there. So I didn't have that yet, but I saw that she did. So I asked, "What's that?" And she, instead of telling me, went the literal secret agent route and goes, "Oh, I'm not gonna tell you. That's something you got to find on your own." I think I ended up making her tell me somehow, but she literally for like a good hour at least would not tell me. And then I figured it out, and it was like my new favorite thing because it was like I went through a lot of the game already. I already got like the highest belt in the cardjitsu and all that other mini game stuff. So that was like this was a whole new world of stuff that I never even explored yet. So it was so much fun.
Did you ever do Neopets?
No.
No,
So
me either.
So Club Penguin was the only like Flash game that I grinded and was a member for a while too. That was the only like Flash game that I actually grinded.
Penguins.
Well, there was one time where like 4 of my because they heard that I played and me and my sister would play together a lot. So 4 of my classmates reactivated their accounts just to play with me one time. It was the funniest thing ever. And I did grind that game though. I went on Karjitsu and was I took the tour guide position seriously. But that was really it. My sister did Webkins and is it Animal Jam, I think it's called. That was the two games that she and my cousins really got into, but Club Penguin was really the only one for me. They never got into Neopets, but it was definitely Webkins and Animal Jam. And a couple of my friends absolutely did Webkins too. I could probably call them all out right now.
Well, and Webkins was like my main thing because I was addicted to, like, the adult version of it is Mahjong, I think it's pronounced. But it was called like Tile Tower or something in Webkins, and Battleship. I played Battleship all the time because there was like a little pirate like dog guy.
Yeah.
So I was a big Webkins person. I dabbled in Club Penguin. I never really used the chat or like decorate the room functions or anything.
Yeah.
I did Toontown for a hot second.
So I had a friend who did Toontown for a while. I was actually working for Toontown. I told you about this. He was working for Toontown for a while, but he had a bit of a falling out. But that game's still kicking. It's crazy how that game's still around.
Yeah, and then I don't know.
No, but a lot of my younger, that was like the only like Flash game, but there was like Flash game sites I would go on all the time. Like addictinggames.com was a big one, and then I think everybody at some point, if you had like a study hall time in like middle school or high school, you knew the sites that were not blocked, which is what I did. So there were sites that were not blocked because a lot of them were, like Addicting Games was blocked. What was the Miniclip? That was originally what Club Penguin was hosted on. There was Miniclip. That was like the big one. That's where 8-Ball originated. Like the 8-Ball that's on like iPhones and stuff now. That's where it came from, was from Miniclip. And that got banned, like all the filters that the schools would block. But there was a couple people who were able to link a lot of those games onto Google sites, and they're not gonna block Google sites because they need it for like Google Classroom and stuff that they had going on. So that would where we would go during the study hall to play those games, and they kept trying to block them, but then another one would come right back up. So you always would figure out where they were. It was a good time killer.
See, I wasn't as into illegal activity as apparently you were. I didn't need the game as badly.
Wait, can I tell since you mentioned illegal activity in school, can I real quick side story? I'm pretty sure I told you this, but this is one of the funniest interactions I ever had with a teacher ever. So I had a study hall, I don't know, I think it was my freshman year, and I had a study hall one period. Okay. So I would go into the library, and this is when I was kind of first getting into like video production, or learning about video production. The biggest YouTube channel for like starting out in DIY filmmaking is Film Riot. Ryan Connolly, Jess Connolly, that's where everybody starts. So I would watch them all the time in my study hall, right? Now, of course, if you're a teacher, you look at YouTube and you see just a kid just watching YouTube, you think it's something bad. Mm-hmm. But it never was for me. At least I don't think so. So the librarian came over to me, and she's like, she already had, she was already readying this conversation to happen, but like in a negative way. Cause she's like, what are you watching? I'm like,
the lean over your shoulder type thing.
She I mean, I had my headphones in, or I had one headphone in or whatever. So I was just kind of sitting there watching, and I was intrigued. And she came over and she's like, what are you watching? Like, just right to my shoulder. I'm like, oh crap. And I look over, I'm like, I'm watching Film Riot. And you see her kind of loosen a bit. And she's like, wait, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's a YouTube channel that teaches filmmaking techniques. And she goes, oh, okay. She's like, so you're sitting here learning stuff like in study hall on YouTube? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay.
Well, she thought she caught you. It's like the cops that get way more, you see way more cop cars at the end of the month. Like they have a speeding ticket quota they have to get.
Yeah.
She literally was on the hunt.
She was, and she but she it was like a combination of relieved and also crap, I could have got him or something and if you knew me then, I was a goody two shoes. I wanted no trouble with anybody or anything. I kept to myself. So I was just sitting there watching my video, man. I don't know why she came in such trouble. I guess she's used to seeing something inappropriate come up on the screen every now and again, because I'm sure there were like music videos being watched or something that didn't have the greatest
knew the
content
crowd
involved.
you ran with, probably.
I don't think the crowd I ran with was that bad. I mean, a lot of them I'm still friends with, but that's neither here nor there. But I don't know. I just, she seems so surprised. She never bugged me again, by the way. Like, she actually like came like, I guess, a friend or whatever, or just like I'll call her an ally since it's a little weird. Or like she would come in, we would kind of smile and wave to each other as I would come in from my study hall now. Like, she seemed like she was, I don't know, her dynamic towards me changed when she figured out that I actually was being somewhat productive in another area during a study hall. I don't know. But yeah, so they were always going to look for illegal activities. They shut down games multiple times, but
yeah,
whatever. So sorry, a little tangent there.
No,
but
it's fine.
I love that story. I don't know why. It makes me laugh so hard every time I tell that story. So.
Yeah, I don't remember ever getting, like, pseudo caught like that. Like, she didn't really even catch you because you weren't doing anything.
Yeah. No.
But
I did get away with a lot because I was in the AV club. So, like, there were places that I could go into versus others, like, because I have to run a cable or I have to set up a light or we're doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody like, are you supposed to be here? I'm like, yeah. Okay.
Right.
Like, that would happen constantly, like especially if we were up in the rafters or whatever. Like, it was constant. So, I legitimately was never trying to ever start trouble at any point in school.
Wait. So. Okay, my dad just texted me and said Cake Boss star Buddy Velastro impales hand in terrible bowling accident. What?
Okay. So, all right, wait.
I hope he's okay. Like,
wait, yes, let's hope he's fine.
He needs his hands.
Let's hope he's fine. But at the same time, how do you do that? The only way I can think of it is if he stuck his hand in the dispenser. Yeah, the chute. Yeah.
Wait. What is this?
I'm gonna have to look into that.
This is gonna date this video or this podcast.
Who cares? We don't talk about too many date heavy topics anyway. He got
it stuck in the bowling pin setter. Why was he down there? Isn't the pin setter the thing that goes up and down?
Was he working it? What was he doing?
It caused a malfunction with a pin setter caused his hand to become lodged and compressed inside the machine. No, it gets worse.
Picture.
No. A picture.
Description.
It's a Fox News article. I doubt they're gonna put a picture.
I don't know.
All right, I'll look at it later. Oh, maybe I should respond to my dad.
I'll save my news media commentary. But hope it gets better.
Anyway.
Hope it gets better. Anyway.
Yeah, it was like actually like impaled.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's a lot of cogs going on for that thing. So yeah, probably not the place you don't want to put your hand in.
I never watched it.
Neither did I. I mean, I'm very familiar, and there's apparently a numerous amount of people on Twitter who are obsessed with it, but I never watched nor cared for it.
I don't think it was a Food Network show. I like more food. I like Chopped. I'm a big fan of types of thing.
It's amazing what was happening to you when Christmas was rolling around this time last year, when the Food Network was just in your dorm 24/7.
It was finals. It was Christmas time. It was finals. It was my last finals. Yeah. So I had a lot of I was like done. And like some people are done senioritis, like they wait till the last second. I was done, so I got my crap finished so I could live. And literally I had art projects. I probably had dolls to work on in my room, and my roommate had a giant adult paint by numbers on the dining room coffee table in front of the TV. And she was like, please, everyone work on it. It's for my like dad or brother for Christmas, and it's like massive. Everyone work on it. I would like sneak out of my room with my own arts and crafts to go work on this. And it was because like I didn't have to think about it. It was mindless. Like I'd never done a paint by numbers before. Like
I mean, you're already an artist, so this kind of comes naturally to you anyway, but you're just basically just a color 23 yellow or whatever.
I would literally bring my good paintbrushes, better than the plastic thing that came with the kit. Like, I
Yeah,
would
it's a
literally
cheap set.
bring my good brushes out to do this, and, like, I think I did probably 60% of her Christmas present to her dad. Or her brother.
Yeah,
And,
you became pretty obsessed.
well, yeah.
You would do it in the middle of us talking. You would just start painting
yeah.
you would start painting the
Well,
sheet.
I mean,
I was like,
I'm one of
okay.
those that, like, I'm always has something with my hands. I'm either playing an app game while we're talking. I'm ripping up a napkin if we're out at a restaurant. Like, I'm always doing something with my hands. So having the paint by numbers while Food Network was on, it was fantastic. It was great. And I'm
thinking about
what?
How much? Sorry, no, I was gonna say.
No,
I was saying like how much you use your hands. I'm surprised you don't have something like a fidget cube or something like that. Given how much you use your hands.
I bought some of those, like, different textures of slimes.
That's right. I forgot about.
So I have a couple of those, but, like,
weren't they all kind of dried up though recently? Because I haven't seen you use it in a
I
while.
have two, but the thing is like, they say that, like, if you take care of them, they'll last for months. But mine lasts, like, maybe a month before they. And I don't know if it's because I'm using them so much.
To say, like, what? How do you take care of? It's supposed to be a fidget toy. Like, there's a reason they're made like this.
Right. It's like, keep your hands clean. Like, wash your hands before and after, and, like, temperature is apparently a big thing too.
Right.
Like,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like room temperature, like it usually was kept in, shouldn't kill it.
Yeah, but I live in an unfinished basement. You probably can see the cement work.
But it's not that different. It's
cold though.
It's not, but not that cold to make it like age that fast compared to what it normally would.
I don't know. All I know is, like, I have two now. They're kind of expensive for, like, a fidget toy.
Yeah.
But, like, I like how malleable they are, other than like a fidget spinner and such. Like, I need something that I can't, like, a game I'm moving around a, like, I want to call Play-Doh, like the slime or whatever it is, I can work with and mess with and, like, do stuff. A fidget toy, I feel like it wouldn't keep my interest, or not even interest, because I'm not paying attention to it.
Well, I mean, would something like cards, like what I do,
right?
I
always know when you have your cards.
You could double hand it. Yeah, I mean, you could double hand that. Yeah, it's always on my desk. These cards are actually, like, they're dying. Like, I am killing these things.
You only have those cards to play with. I've never seen you actually use those cards for a game.
No, I have other packs for that.
I have other packs for that.
I mean, look, there's a lot of dirt and kind of gunk on them just from how much I sit here for hours and do that. Like, if my hand is not doing something, it's touching the cards. So, like, I don't want to use these dirty cards when I have my friends over and play poker or something like that. So I have, like, a nicer packs for that don't get used for this at all. You know what I mean? So like. But even still, I still get annoyed that whenever I accidentally, like, bend a corner or something, it actually still makes me mad.
Even though the whole point of using them is to, like,
can you
do the noise here? I always, like, because the way
you
shuffle, the way you shuffle them,
like that, like, kind of. Well, I mean, yeah. So I mean, a lot of the time, what I'm doing, I'll try and show the camera. Like, if it's sitting, like, so, like, say my hand is my desk, right? I mean, a lot of times it's just sitting there, and I'll literally just grab it and just go. I just do that, and then, like, if I'm two-handing it, then I'm just kind of doing your normal, like, riffle shuffle kind of thing, like, if I'm like that bored. But yeah, I do that all the time.
But it's just kind of, I always know when you're messing with it.
Yeah.
And, like, it doesn't bother me. I know what you're doing, like.
Yeah.
And it's not that, like, I'm ignoring you or I'm trying to get out of the conversation. It's like I used to doodle in class all the time. And I would get called out on purpose, be like, hey, Morgan, what did you blank just say? Like, or what was the answer to blah, blah, blah on page 2? And I would be able to pick up or do that because I'm listening. I'm just engaging.
There's your pseudo-caught moments right there. That you said you couldn't think of one. That's probably happened a couple times where they called you because they saw you doodling, but then you were able to be like, oh, yeah, this, that, and the other thing. Well, you know what I realize I'm slowly becoming though. So there's a streamer on Twitch. His name is Destiny. Now he does a lot of political commentary. So he does a lot of debates with people and discussion. But the funny part about him is that a lot of the time, unless he's in like a kind of a tag team debate or like a multi-person debate, but if he's just talking to one or two people, he's usually playing a game while he's in these very heated debates. It's usually something mind-numbing, like he's played Terraria or Minecraft or something like that. It's just funny to watch. And I realize I'm becoming that because I've actually been playing a game while I've been talking to my therapist lately. Just because, like, it's something I'm just kind of...
Teresa know?
No, I don't think she knows. She might hear me clicking like on the because I have my controller and I'll click and clack. But but I'm not like playing like a competitive game or anything. I'm usually just like bumping a ball around in like the practice mode in Rocket League. I'm not focused on anything, and we're still able to have a conversation. And I even go as far as to still pin the video in front of me on top of the game so I can still see her, and I'm still engaged in the conversation. I'm just doing something. Like, I used to go actually see her in person when I started seeing her. I don't do that anymore. And I think I'm just so stimulated sitting here now that I still kind of need to just be doing something. I don't think it's that rude if I'm still kind of in conversation with her. You know what I mean? But
no, like,
I'm slowly becoming that.
It's definitely a therapist understands.
Sure. She would definitely not kill me for that.
I haven't thought about this in forever, but in us recording this and me kind of like watching me type thing, I forgot that I do this. Have you ever noticed that I mess with my earrings a lot?
Oh, you do? Yeah. I mean, you do it constantly. It's
like I literally have a little tiny hoop in right now. I don't know if people can see it, but all I'm doing is shifting it back and forth.
Yeah.
And
you do it a lot when you're at like a table. Like if you're sitting on a chair that has like armrests, or if you're just kind of leaning on a
if I'm leaning, table, I'm doing it.
It's never like how most people, put their hand up against their face or something like that. No, it's always, if your hand's on your face, it's going to your ear, like every time.
Right. Like, I didn't know, like, is that something you've noticed, or is that like a subconscious now that I'm saying it you've noticed?
Probably more subconscious. I think both. I've noticed you do it before, but I never picked up on how much you did it until you kind of mentioned it, and it triggered back a lot of kind of what you always seem to be doing.
When I was in elementary school, or whenever I first got my ears pierced, I haven't thought about this in like since I was in elementary school. I'm going back to my ear right now. Like
it's habit.
Yeah, my dad used to make fun of me, like tease me. He said, "Are you contacting the mothership?" Because he would always say I was fixing my antenna.
Right.
And I haven't thought about that since probably 3rd grade. Like right. But he did. He used to say that a lot.
Right.
I don't switch out my earrings. Like I have two piercings on each ear at the bottom, and then one cartilage on the other side. I don't switch out my earrings. They are the same ones. On special occasions, I'll put different ones at the very bottom, but I don't. So I guess it's just a familial habit.
Yeah, that's why I haven't bought you earrings, obviously.
Because I wear the same. I wear a Fitbit S type thing. I think this is actually a Fitbit. Ooh, I've upgraded.
Same type of eyeliner that you do with the wings.
Yep. Like the only makeup I do is the eyeliner and mascara, brow.
It's still a good look. There's nothing wrong with keeping that look. It's you know how it's like a thing with Steve Jobs that he wore the same thing every day. It's kind of what you end up doing anyway. You kind of do the same outfit unless you're going on a special or professional occasion. Like
you and I both have this bracelet, which is like a very simple leather cord type thing.
Let's be real. This is our promise ring. If we were to
honestly, it kind of was.
It really is. I wear it like I don't even when I'm like I take off like my one other like f-stop bracelet that I have on like a lot, but if I have the watch on, which is basically all the time, this still comes on. Like even if I'm playing golf or like fishing or doing whatever, I feel like it's kind of become part of the watch.
No, it's
this point.
If I'm getting dressed, it's part of the getting dressed routine. Like put it on, like put on perfume, put on the bracelet and the watch, and we joke about it being our promise ring, but if I remember, remind me, I can link the Etsy that we bought these from.
They've lasted. I mean, there was one that I broke the lock on, or no, you broke.
I had a faulty clasp.
Yeah.
So it just fell off at the. It's a very cool clasp right now for people on YouTube, but at the very slight, like it takes a little bit of pressure to get it off now. At the very slightest touch, it would fall apart. And the Etsy owner, the Etsy seller, was very sweet and sent me another one even though I was past the due date or the return by date.
I have my old one. I'm gonna mute my mic for a second in case I go static, but I have my old one here on my my mic boom arm. Hold on, because I one was too big for me. I think is what was happening. I can't remember. But
when I bought it,
let me mute.
Yeah, I'll just keep talking. When I bought it the second time, I adjusted the sizes because mine was a little too tight and yours was a little too big. So I adjusted the sizes on each one. And then yeah. Ooh, so professional.
Yeah. Sorry. No. Well, they're not gonna be able to hear that. You can hear that, but they couldn't hear that. Sorry.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're good. No, we're good. Yeah.
So, I bought this for us as I think it was our first year anniversary, and I remember being really scared. And for those who are tapping in now, we've been dating. It'll be 3 years in January, but
that's soon, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I better start planning your gift before another pandemic screws me up.
Yeah. So I'm gonna finish this story and then rat you out on that story.
No, we did that last time. We did that last time. I just watched that episode. Yes.
Haven't gotten my 2-year anniversary.
Yes, we actually explained that whole situation last episode, so you do not have to do it twice. I assure you.
I could do it twice. Anyway, I got this for us, and I remember thinking like, is this a girly thing? Am I too sentimental? Is he gonna wear it? Like, I remember giving it to you and be like, you don't have to wear it every day. Like it's fine.
I've barely taken it off. I take it off to go to bed and shower.
Yeah, and like the metal has scratched up for sure on the clasp, but like the bracelet itself is like
nice,
perfect. It hasn't done anything.
Yeah,
because I remember trying to select like the bracelet for you. I know when people see it on me, they usually think it's a hair tie.
Yeah. I mean, because you do the same thing I do, where you put the clasp underneath. Mm-hmm. So if people aren't really looking, maybe you're supposed to. I don't know.
I think you're supposed to. I don't know. I always try to hide the clasp of things.
It's not that I didn't want the clasp showing; it just made more sense to me for some reason. I didn't know if that was something you're supposed to do or not. I just kind of did it. I don't know. No, but I don't know. I'm a suck. I don't even have my ears pierced or anything, but like watches and like, necklaces, like I wear tags all the time, and like jewelry like this, I'm a sucker for some reason. Mm-hmm. I think that comes from my silly band days. I'll be real about it. But like I wear this stuff all the time. Like this is so hokey and so cliche for like a video production / filmmaker dude to wear. But I think it's cool as hell.
Do you want to tell people what it is for auditory podcast people?
So if you're not familiar with video, there's a one of the settings that you have to adjust all the time is called your f-stop, and it's the way your lens works. And the idea of it is the higher you get, the less light you are, the more light you are letting into your camera. And usually that means for like, okay, so if you're looking at like a landscape, like that'll all be in focus. Whereas when you go lower, like maybe I'm in focus, but behind me, like it kind of is blurred out a little bit. So like I'm at a f-stop 4.0 on my camera right now, as you're seeing it. So I'm in focus, but everything behind me is blurry. So it just has to do with, it's called depth of field or how the focus operates. So I thought this was really cool. I saw Marcus Brownlee, MKBHD on YouTube, the big tech reviewer, wearing one, and I'm like, I want that, so I bought it.
Well, I don't think it's dorky or weird or anything. I think it's a really subtle nod to your filmmaking. I think it's a really cool. My favorite nerd things are the ones that you wouldn't know unless you were a part of it.
Yeah, I get asked. Someone looked at my bracelet and asked me a very obscure question about what it was. I can't remember what, though. I wish I knew. But, people ask me, people who are not familiar with this definitely ask, like, oh, where are all those numbers on your wrist? I'm like, oh, yeah, it's a film thing. And they're like, oh, yeah, cool. Well, and then the other filmmaker friends that I have would be like, really? You're wearing your f-stops on your wrist? Well, you need to remember.
You're a very sentimental wearer, if that makes sense. Like, you wear that, you wear our matching bracelets, and then, like, my little brother, you, like, couldn't come to his birthday party, so he gave you a goodie bag, and he got, like,
the Lego bracelet.
A Lego, like, silicone rubber bracelet, and you wore that till it broke.
Yeah, it snapped. I wore it for a while. Yeah, I mean, it became part of my attire every day.
I feel like I've gotten you more jewelry than you've gotten me, which like I'm cool with because like I got you custom dog tags with my to match something either from your grandfather, right?
I don't. Yeah. So they're my names are on them. I really don't know the origin of where these tags came from. My grandfather was a career veteran. He served in the Army and the Air Force for 40, 50 years and was retired Chief Master Sergeant in 2004. And I had tags that have my name on them, had U.S. Air Force on them. I want to say that I got them from a Air Force base, the one that he worked at in Pennsylvania, but I honestly do not remember. But I do think they're cool. So Morgan, knowing that I wear these, or Fana rather, got me. We have a saying we say to each other every night because we're terrible. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do this, but
you can kind of see it.
Actually, that's that. Yeah, you can. So it says "Sweet Dreams Starboy" because Starboy is a nickname that I have been given, and then her actual YouTube intro or outro rather. Have a great day and keep being extraordinary because I find it.
Have a phenomenal day and keep being extraordinary.
Oh, sorry. I haven't read it in a minute. I'm sorry.
At least he keeps it close to his heart.
Yeah, I mean, I read the front side and hear the front side of this every night, so but I don't. You don't greet me with your YouTube outro every day, so
I sign cards with it because I find it's a great way to sign cards.
It's different.
Hold
on, I gotta keep talking.
That's just like saying you're special, but I find that you have a lot of sentimental wearable pieces.
I have a lot of sentimental things, period. But yeah, I wear. This is the materialistic way of wearing your heart on your sleeve. It's a lot of importance that I have. I mean, here's an aspect of what I'm trying to do for the rest of my life. Here's the love of my life.
Aww.
Here's the connection to a lot of my outside world and other interests that I have. And then here's my grandfather, and of course now someone I look up to every day, and I've always looked up to and have been proud of what he's done over the course of his life. So like I do that all the time. So like that Lego bracelet was cute as heck. Also the way we got it was fun too. We had a lot of fun in the dorm room when we got those goodie bags. So like that just reminded me of that too. So it was always just a good thing to look at and be like, you know what, that was fun. That was a good time.
Because Bobby couldn't come to my little brother's birthday party, my mom made a goodie bag for him and his 3 roommates. So no one would she specifically did it so no one would feel left out.
Yeah. We were all close. I mean, we also still are. So like this was like a no-brainer for your mother.
My mom got you guys quite a few like little dumb things.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've gotten like I mean, your parents specifically have your father is getting into the habit of sending me lovely things over text message now, which has become quite fun for me. He hasn't done it recently, but he's I mean, he sent some articles my way before.
Did you text him happy anniversary?
I'll text him and say
no, you can't do it now because now it looks like I told you.
Yeah, I'll just blame you and say you told me too late and say yesterday was anniversary. I'm like, oh crap. I'll just do that. It makes this easier, and then you can take the fall for me for once. I usually take the fall for you.
Oh, like word it as Morgan told me it was your anniversary, like.
Yeah.
Not as a Morgan told me to text you and I forgot.
No. Say like, oh, hey, Morgan told me it was your anniversary. Sorry I couldn't get to you yesterday. Hope you guys had a good one. Easy. I know how to pressure your parents sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And I love how, if you've made it this far, yes, my name is Morgan. Because I slipped up at the I slipped up and I heard myself saying it when we were talking about the professors and me thriving. And then I skipped kind of over it. I glitched on it later on. And then I was like, whatever.
Yeah, when I was saying the dog tags, I said Morgan or Fana rather. So
yeah.
Yes. 2 sides of the same coin here.
Wow.
We've kind of already discussed this. Like we said, we did a whole story of you, and people should know by now. But that's. I think also like that was also kind of your brain was actually going back to stuff because I think you consider Morgan as your librarian / professional side of things, where Fana is kind of everything else that's creative about you. So when you talk about your library stuff, you're going to kind of subconsciously know, oh, I'm going to say Morgan, and you're not even going to be able to catch it, I don't think, a lot of time. But if you're talking about like your dolls or a lot of the other art projects that you do, I think Fana is when that's going to come up again. Just another fun little brain thing that you got going on.
Right. And I think a lot of people, like in school and such, like, a lot of people, one, either didn't know about my channel, or they knew but didn't. It's not that they didn't care, but they didn't follow it. I think only my one roommate, I would say, is actually like keeps up with it, and like I know that I could send her a whip or a work in progress, and she would be like. Whereas I feel like my other roommates or other friends, besides you, obviously, because you support me in everything that I do.
I do.
But
I do.
It's
I would buy your OnlyFans.
What?
I would buy your OnlyFans.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. But it's just like, that part of my life, I was Morgan. I am Morgan, but
yeah. I'm like, also Fana too.
I'm not that.
You're gonna have an identity crisis one day.
Yeah. So if we slip between the two names, they're both me. I think my little book M is even in frame a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Which way does it go? That way.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like since the Gremlin's Lair is its own entity too, like I can be both and not worry. Yeah. When we first started this, I was going to be like, oh, I'm going to be Fana because my online personality is Fana, but like...
And I'll probably still refer to you as such just to kind of keep the continuity, but I'm going to slip. We already kind of acknowledged
continuity errors?
Our kind of pre-production process of this, where I said, I'm like, yeah, I'll call you Fana if that's what you want to kind of be called, just to kind of keep your online audience in the loop of who I'm talking to. Well, but, but I think as your boyfriend who doesn't call you Fana every day, I'm going to slip every once in a while.
Well, that's like, I have another cousin who goes by her childhood nickname.
Right.
With family.
Yeah.
So we never refer to her by her real name. But everyone else in the outside world does. And her boyfriend is very much stuck in we all call her the childhood nickname, but he calls her real name. So like whenever he's at family functions, you see him struggling.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what to call her. And they're like been together for like 9 years and are about to get married. Like, and he still is kind of like, I've noticed he doesn't really say her name around us.
So we don't even like, besides babe, we don't call on each other any different names or you said, well, here, let me ask you, since you've been around my family enough. So they all call me Boog.
Yes.
And always have. Does it, I mean, at this point, probably not, but did it ever like cause a little bit of like extra processing as to why?
No, because Boog is obviously a nickname, whereas my cousin's name is Alex or Alexandra or Alexandria. I don't even honestly, like, I can't remember. Because
that's funny. If you ever have to file a police report about her for whatever reason, you're screwed.
But I think it's Alexandra. But she when my other cousin, her brother, couldn't pronounce her name, so they tried calling her Allie, and it turned into Lolly. So to us, Lolly sounds like a name.
Right.
Whereas Boog is obviously like a cutesy
nickname that really wouldn't be like an actual first name.
No, like Lolly sounds like a name. Or at least it does to me, but maybe because I've known a person called Lolly. I hear it.
Well, I also got introduced, so I've met Lolly, and I got introduced to her as Lolly. So I can't even picture her as anything else, but
her boyfriend
you've already
met her
screwed that
school.
for me. So it was Alexandra.
So she was Alex.
Yeah,
I think she's Alex. And I think it's funny because I've seen her with like her name tag at work, and it says Alex, and I'm like, that's not you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Lolly. Get that scratched right now.
Well, I don't know if she's ever like wanted to call us Alex. Like, I'm not sure. Maybe she did go. I only see her a couple times a year, so maybe she did go through a phase of being Alex, or she might be 100% comfortable with being Lolly. I don't know.
I guess I suppose it's not even that much different than, guys' names is Richard, but they're called Dick at work. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. I mean, even for me, like I sign everything as Robert Marson, but no one calls me Robert except when I'm in trouble at home.
Yeah.
Like, so,
well, okay.
I'm called Bobby.
My dad goes by Michael. Everyone calls him Mike or Mr. Mike or whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Mike.
Yeah.
He doesn't like, if you notice, my mom always calls him Michael.
I absolutely know it. But so in my position, right, it's weird for me because I feel like I can't call him Michael.
No.
Even though he probably wouldn't. Yeah. Like there's too much respect there. So I have to call him Mr. Mike, even though that's not really what he likes. But I feel like Mr. Michael is too much.
Right. Like it doesn't bother him. But it might just be because he's resigned or used to it. He's used to it. But if his preference is Michael. But I think he even tells people to call him Mike because I think he knows people are just going to shorten it anyway.
Yeah.
Which is why I like more formal names. I like William. I like that kind of stuff. But I don't like Will. I don't like Willie. Well, I like our friend Will. But if I had a child and I named him William, I want him to be called William.
I don't know. That might be a little much. I don't know.
That's like I call you Robert in a non-ironic thing because I like Robert better than Bob, or Bobby. Or
this is a discussion you'll hear a lot because I'm the third of my name, and we've talked about when we have kids down the line having a fourth. What are they called? All three of iterations of me, so my father and my grandfather, are all called Bob or Bobby. Depending on who's talking. Like my grandmother still calls, her son, my father, Bobby, even though he's 52 years old.
But see, if you, we had this discussion, if you all went by a different version of Robert, it'd be different, but you all go by everything.
Same thing.
So if I was to have the fourth, I've always wanted the name Rory, and having a child named Robert, I think would be perfect to call the child Rory. To me,
will fit.
It's perfect. Somebody in this relationship wants it to just be Robert or Bobby or Bob.
Well, here's the thing. It's going to be one of those things where, look, the name by default is just going to be Robert. Like, what you call your kid really doesn't matter.
But see, the thing is, it's your kid too.
I don't have to call my kid Rory. If you want to be the one, it's like a special nickname that you give him.
No, it would be
and
his
you want
name.
to call him Rory. His name. It's never going to appear on a school sheet at any point in time, unless.
Yeah, because the teacher's always like, Robert. Okay, do you have something you want to be? You've never had a teacher that's like, do you have a nickname?
When I was in elementary school, I would write Bobby. When I got to middle school and high school, I'd write Robert because even if I told them. Because, yes, every teacher will usually see Robert and ask me, okay, what do you prefer to be called? Is it Rob, Bob? And I say Bobby, right? But the name that still appears at the top of the sheet will always be Robert, whether for official reasons or whatever, for attendance, whatever. So it never really mattered. The name on the sheet would be Robert, but when they called me in class, it would always be Bobby. That's just what it was. I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll cross that bridge when we come to, or call him by his middle name, because calling people by their middle names is a tradition my family has.
I think I would rather, I would rather probably go by Rory than Joseph, to be quite honest with you. So my middle name's Joseph. So I think I would, if absolutely you had a gun to my head, which I'm at this point kind of scared you're going to do because of how, hell-bent you are on this conversation.
I don't know. You're the one who brought it up.
I think you're the one who, I think I would choose Rory over calling him Joseph because none of us have ever gone by Joseph. I can live with a different iteration of Robert. I've been called Rob, even though no one actually ever calls me that. I don't think anyone's ever called me that either. I think some of my classmates in college did out of.
Well, it was never Bert. It was Bobbert.
Yeah.
Because Aaron used to call you Bobbert all the time.
Yeah, our friend Aaron in school. Shout out Aaron. I tease a lot of people. I just kind of mess with a lot of people, and she's too nice sometimes. So, if I start getting on her nerves a little bit, she's like, Bobbert. Oh, that was cute.
Yeah, she was. She is. She was. She's still with us. She is fantastic.
Oh, I don't even think I texted you about this. She beat me in fantasy football this past week, which
good.
Let me read you some of her trash talk because this is her version of trash talk.
So I was gonna say she's not good at trash talk.
Why is this? But this was so freaking funny. So, fantasy football, in case any of you, we won't talk about sports too much, I promise, because I know this isn't what it's about, but it's, I play fantasy football, so you choose players in the National Football League, and, you get points based on how well they do each week, and so the games go from Sunday to Monday. At the end of Monday is when you get your final tallies. So I was playing against her. This is like her first year doing a league. She just did her first draft in this league this year. I've been playing since I was 12. So she texted me at like 10 o'clock on Monday night. She goes, "How's your fantasy team doing?" Knowing full well she blew me out. Like she beat me like 200 to 139. So I took a picture like the next day. I'm like, "Okay, you got lucky. I'll be back." And she's like, "You'll never catch me though." She's like, "You'll never catch me." And I said, "Well, don't get comfy because I'm coming. I always make a comeback." She goes, "You're right. I should probably stay busy coming up with more trash talk." I'm like, "Well, that's kind of the point you play, is you're just trying to act like you're playing a chess match with people who are drinking just as many beers as you are during the draft for some reason."
Oh.
So, but she asked what my record was. She's like, "Yeah, you're 1-1 now, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 1-1." She goes, "Well, I'll be 2-1 very soon." That was the end of that conversation. So she's chirping, man.
I was actually just listening to a podcast today where all of these three wives were talking about fantasy football, and they were like comparing notes on how dedicated their husbands were and how bad it was. The one girl was like, she's like, "He always wakes me up in the morning, brings the dog to the bedroom. But one morning, he literally snuck out to the living room so he could watch fantasy football or do fantasy football on the big TV without, like, so that he didn't have to put his headphones in." She's like, "He ruined our morning Saturday ritual so he could sneak out to do fantasy football." I was like, man, if that doesn't sound like my man.
I mean, so
how many times have you pulled the whole, "Oh yeah, like I'm going to bed soon," and then like wait for me to text you goodnight, or like you're like, "Oh, bye honey," and then like I'll text you couldn't sleep like 3 hours later and you just respond immediately because somebody didn't go to bed.
Now I have we could talk about this. We have one of our topics at some point is to talk about our various health issues, and I honestly think it kind of falls in there where I suck at going to bed. Not and let me get it straight. I don't have a problem falling asleep. That's honestly a talent of mine of how quickly I fall asleep. Ask her. If we get into a laying position at any point, I'm out. That's it. Like that's it. I have no problem falling asleep. It's just that there's not enough hours in a day for me. So I feel like I need to take as much up of it as possible, even if that means I'm going to be feeling like complete crap the next day. Like, so I will stay up at, ridiculous, especially in college. I've gotten better. I've gotten a lot better. I've gotten a lot better, and I'm starting a job soon where it sounds like I'm going to have to be on set by 6 a.m. So I'm going to have to go to bed at a very decent hour, but it's just never been my thing. There's just not enough hours in a day for me. I feel like I have to just keep doing. And that's something I got to fix.
You definitely have gotten better with bedtimes. I know I have an hour commute in the mornings, and in the evenings, but I know that like I need to be in bed by midnight at the latest. Do I always follow that? No.
Nope. And most of the time you're going to bed, I'm usually staying up for another hour or two.
At least.
Yeah.
You're like, "I'll start the wind down process at 2. I'm like,
But I've definitely discovered that my wind down process is a lot longer than I think it is.
Yeah.
Like it's stupid.
Well, my problem is I'm in bed, but I'm on my phone.
Yep.
So that's my issue.
I see. My phone puts me to sleep pretty quickly. If I'm on my phone and I'm just kind of, I usually watch a lot of YouTube when I watch YouTube all day. But I'll watch some YouTube, or if somebody on Twitch is streaming that I'm watching or whatever a little bit, and I'll, while I'm watching, I'm scrolling through Twitter or Reddit one final time. Usually I can fall asleep within like 20 minutes. But like there will be nights though where like maybe I woke up late, but I have to go to bed at a decent hour and I can't fall asleep. And then all of a sudden the phone and the TV are keeping me up for an extra 4 hours. Those nights suck. Like if I have to reset my schedule for whatever reason, it's not good. It's never good. It's never worked in my favor ever.
No.
Ever.
And yet you try. And you convince yourself that it's going to work this time.
Oh, I said about a lot of things, but the bedtime in particular has been an issue for a long time. I went to my therapist about that once, where I expressed that because, you know, one of the screening first appointments questions kind of thing was always like, you know, how's your sleep? How's your diet? You know, kind of thing. So she asked, how's my sleep? I'm like, well, that's an interesting question. And here's my answer to that question. My sleep is fine. Getting myself into bed to actually begin the sleep process is the problem.
Is not fine.
And she's like, and she's like, I bet you I don't have to tell you then how not good that is. I'm like, no, you don't. I get it.
I love Teresa.
Teresa's great.
I love
Teresa's
Teresa.
great.
I've never met Teresa, but Teresa knows about me.
You'll meet her at some point, I'm sure. She always said that if for whatever reason you needed to be involved in any of the sessions, you could pop in. So, this is probably a good time to say, hey, keep your head up, people. Mental health check for everybody. Hope everyone's doing good in this weird time.
And it's okay.
I'm still losing my mind.
It's okay to be vocal. It's good to be vocal that you're seeing someone.
Yeah, I've been pretty open with me seeing somebody. I mean, because I think everybody kind of needs to. I think tangent time. I think we're so in the world that we live in and how fast everything moves. It's pretty easy to kind of fall behind on yourself. And I have this happen a lot where I work so much and feel like I have to just be getting to point A to point B all the time that I kind of forget that I need to take some time for myself to actually like look at what might be bothering me on a particular day and address it, which is what's been good about my therapist lately is that every other week I can get on Zoom with her and just even if I'm not having any big, kind of crisis, just kind of spouting off about things that I'm even just a tad bit peeved about will at least help me get it out. Because that hour is my time to really focus on what's been bothering me and maybe what I haven't been able to look at over the course of, 14 days in between the two sessions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just, and I would love to talk about this another time because I'm still learning it, but I've gotten big into morning meditation stuff, and I found that that's helped me kind of center myself and get myself a little bit planted and ready to start things instead of kind of waking up with the anxiety that I do sometimes and then hopping into more stuff that's going to be anxiety inducing, like projects that have deadlines or answering confusing emails, or like I'm dealing with right now with a lot of miscommunication on some things. Like it's good to have that kind of initial balance to kind of, be able to go back to if stuff doesn't go your way any particular day. Mental health's important, people. I mean, that's just it. This world moves too fast sometimes, and I think everyone needs to get better at taking a step back and just kind of looking at, are you okay? Are you doing all right? Are you happy right now? If you're not, why? And it's okay if you're not. It's just trying to recognize when you are and when you aren't, and figuring out how to deal with that in a healthy way. That's important. So, and especially during a pandemic where we're locked in a house a lot and not able to do a lot of things we want to do. We lost this summer. I mean, me and Danny here had a lot of plans or stuff stuff we do all the summer. We always have like an annual beach trip with her and I. We spent like 4 or 5 days last summer at like my grandparents' house down in the Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
it was a great time.
Yeah,
and we wanted to do it again just because, that's basically like our little vacation that me and her can take as a couple, and we couldn't do that because, my grandparents are high risk and it wasn't going to be worth that trouble. So, hopefully we get to do it next year, but it sucks that we kind of lost all that, and it can make you go a little nuts. We were without each other for, what was the count? What was the days that we were gone from each other when it hit in March?
About 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. That sucked for us. We had Discord and stuff and dates every Wednesday, but that only goes so far a lot of times. So there's stuff that you can't control in the world, but how you react to it and how you can kind of keep yourself in a positive mindset is something you can definitely work on and improve on. Take it from me, from somebody who gets stressed out and anxious pretty easily. And being able to step back and kind of balance myself and try to, focus on the things I do have. I have a very supportive and lovely girlfriend that is on this podcast with me and is doing a creative project with me and listens to me rant and ramble and do all this dumb stuff all the time. I have a great family. I have, I have great friends around me. I got to be looking at that stuff instead of the few negative things that are happening right now. Yes, the world sucks, but I'm finding better ways to be okay with that. And that's been life-changing for me. And I hope, someone else, if you are going through that kind of thing, will kind of hear me out and maybe do something for themselves too, because I think, keeping each other sane during this period of time, especially is super important. But even after this is over, there's going to be stresses of getting back and everything like that. So I definitely think people need to kind of keep their mental health in check as much as possible,
Yeah, and it's also important to know that just because you might not need your therapist this week doesn't mean that you should stop. It's one of those that nope. I've taken this medication for years and years and years. Yeah. I'm feeling great. I must not need it. And then you go off the meds. It's like, well, the reason you're feeling great for years is because you've been taking the medication for years.
Right. And the med is work.
You and I kind of do a little baby recap after your sessions. And some weeks I'm like, sounds like you and Teresa just kind of bitched about stuff. And you're like, yeah, it was good. It was almost not a friend per se, but she's someone that you've said before that hey, if we have an extra seat, I wouldn't mind Teresa coming to the wedding type thing.
Yeah. And she's said to me that she's in, I'm not trying to gas myself, but she said she looks forward to our sessions because a lot of the time we're ranting and raving because, I've ranted a ton about the coronavirus and even politics a little bit here and again, because it's stuff that bothers the heck out of me a lot of the time, or especially when a lot of the coronavirus stuff like anti-maskers and a lot of the stuff that just would drive me absolutely nuts. I would go to her and talk about. Now, it's not something I would ever hide from Vanny here. She knows that that's always been an issue, and I rant to her about this stuff too. Yep. But it's good to have that scheduled session, I think, with a professional who can kind of help me sort
with the professional
through
is
it.
The key word here.
Right. Yes. You will help me when I have an issue or I'm in a crisis, and you have, and I'm grateful for that. But at the end of the day, you don't necessarily know what you're doing.
No.
You're there to just be kind of a hugger and a emotional support person, a soother, but someone's got to actually help me deal with the issue. And she's highly trained to do so. So, and I have her number, as her personal, because she's been operating kind of on her own lately. And I've there'll be a couple of mental health articles came up recently that I was texting her. So even when we're not meeting, I'm asking her some stuff because I'm very interested in some things that I've found and what her opinion are, because, I definitely hold her opinion in pretty high regard at this point since I've been seeing her for almost a year. So, it's been a good thing, it's been a very good thing for me. I'm glad also I found her on the first go. That's the other part of this too.
And finding someone can take. Bobby lucked out. It can take a long time. And I know I've seen several people who haven't connected. They weren't right.
No.
And it can be a long process, but it's not a process to give up on. Per se.
No, it's not. It's not. You definitely gotta, know yourself, know what you need. I need a woman. I needed a woman. When I was searching for mine, I knew I needed kind of a woman who was gonna give me the tough love that I probably needed to sort through my stuff, but also be that comforting, person. And Teresa is absolutely that person. She has definitely told me when I'm kind of being an idiot, but she's also given me look, I understand what you're going through kind of thing. Let's kind of kindly go through and see what the nature of the issue is. So, she's been that good person for me, so keep her head up. That's all I can tell you.
We got this.
It will get better. I know. Everybody hears that, but it really will. It's always a dark time, I think, for everybody right now. So I think everyone just kind of needs to do a mental health check every now and again. So if this is your reminder to do so, hope it helps.
Well, sometimes the Gremlin's lair gets dark. Sometimes it does.
Yes.
And if it takes...
We have a lot of vulnerable topics to talk about that we have listed.
Absolutely. That's when...
Yeah.
That's Yeah, that's when Grumble the Gremlin is hiding, I guess. Like, that's when he's hibernating. Or they are hibernating. And yeah, that's all part of being in the Gremlin's lair, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is a place for a lot of different things. Let's be happy here. Let's be sad here. Angry here. Let's, this is a safe space for people at the moment. This is a place where me and Fana here can rant and rave while, also celebrating a lot of our accomplishments as well. And we want to share that with everybody. And, if we start to build a community out of this, want them to share their experiences too. We always, want to hear from other people, especially our audience, and hope everybody's doing well and are, accomplishing things and doing their thing. And hopefully they're not sad or mad when listening to us. Even if you hear the more vulnerable topics out of this, we think that you'll be able to relate and understand that you're not alone a lot of the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, you never really are. If someone is going through something similar that you're going through, and they'll understand,
And it doesn't have to be that deep either. It could be just you're listening to two dorks. And if that's what you need. That's what it is. If that's what you need in that moment, yeah, we're going to be dorks anyway. We might as well be your dorks.
That's what it is. That is what it is. I am a firm believer in comfort media. So like Achievement Hunter or Rooster Teeth are that for me. Like, there's something I know, if I'm happy, sad, whatever, I turn that on and I'm good. Like I feel a lot more at home. I've been watching their content since I was 13 or 14. So it's just always been a part of my life. So they can always make me laugh. They can always, make me feel like I really want to feel, no matter what mood I'm in. It can either enhance my mood or it can, just make me go from sad to a higher place. It just always has been and probably always will be until into the foreseeable future, honestly. So yeah, I don't know. So if this is your comfort media, I'm glad we were able to provide it. We're just here to be dorks, just like Fana said. That's really all we're here to do. Well, and I'm sure Grumble would feel the exact same.
Yeah. But that's all for us today. Bobby, where can you find this comfort media, as you're calling it?
Okay, so we have this YouTube channel, which hopefully you're watching. If you want to watch the video version, it'll always be on YouTube. If you're looking for the audio versions, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Maybe more to come, but I'm not sure. I just know those three in particular will have us. We'll see about all the other ones down the line. You can find all the links for those in the description, or just search us up, The Gremlin's Lair.
All right. Thanks, you guys, for listening.